Verne out of the race, out of the car.
All throttles and Flotter behind you.
Verne to win the first race of season 6. Porsche and Mercedes on the podium in their first race in ABB FIA Formula E, the most competitive motorsport championship in the world.
Fan up the back. Yeah, do you remember to say no?
The second qualifying session of the 2019-20 ABB FIA Formula E Championship is about to get underway. My name is Jack Nichols. Alongside me in the commentary box is the 3-time Indy 500 winner and 4-time IndyCar champion, Dario Franchitti. The session is due to start in about 40 seconds time, and Group 1, Dario, is the famous people from yesterday.
Yep. This is the coming back down to earth, but you get the worst track conditions. The track will evolve as each group goes out. And Group 1 is notoriously difficult. The drivers complain about it a lot. We think it's great, but at this situation, all these drivers in Group 1, all they can do is do the absolute, just extract the maximum. Don't worry about what the guys in Group 2, 3 and 4 are going to do. Extract your maximum. Every 10th of a second is going to count, though, because all you got to do in group qualifying, be in the top 6 to give you a shot at Super Bowl.
Correct. So we will have the 4 groups heading out. There is Robin Fraintz, who was strong in the race yesterday, qualified in 12th, albeit he was out in Group 1, and these are the drivers. So race winner yesterday, Sam Bird. Second place man, Andre Lotterer. Third place man, Stoffel van Dorn. 4th, Oliver Rowland. 5th, Robin Fraintz. 6th, Nick de Vries. So both Mercedes out in Group 1.
Quite an impressive debut,
yeah,
I would say. But we haven't mentioned yet that what's going to happen is everybody's going to sit around and wait for a bit, and then getting in each other's way when it comes time to do a qualifying lap.
Just look at these black lines here. It's like, they're almost like tram tracks now, isn't it, on the circuit, compared to yesterday and the lack of rubber.
Yeah, yesterday was like a skating rink, especially at this point in the day, but you can see the rubber down there. The Michelin tyres have been just scrubbing off, adhering to the track. That's great if you can stay on the line, but when you pull off the line, the change between the rubber part, the dusty part, is even bigger now. So any slight mistake, and you're probably going to have a meeting with the wall. There's no runoff areas. The wall is right there. You've got to be inch perfect to not only to qualify well, but just to keep the thing out of the wall.
Now, yesterday in Group 1, we saw kerfuffle. We saw drivers not wanting to be the first driver on the track, everybody backing up into one another, and some people almost not getting a lap in and everybody nose to tail, and not ideal.
Yeah, I just said that.
Right, but what can they do differently?
Well, they all want to be
what
the
else
last.
Can you do?
Everybody wants to be the last car out, because the first car out is going to be a road sweeper. What did you call it yesterday? Electric road sweeper.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to be happening. It's going to be sweeping up. So you want to be the last car of this group, but you almost risk, as we've seen a couple of times, people missing. Rather than coming to start their lap, they get the checkered flag, and and it's over. So it's a real tightrope. And I'm not sure what the answer is, because if you do go out first, you're at such a massive disadvantage. It's a game of high-stakes poker, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. There's Stoffel Van Dorn in the Mercedes-Benz EQ machine. A strong third-place finish for him yesterday. It was unfortunate, really, to get caught out, I suppose, by the safety car. He activated attack mode, and no sooner had he done that, but the safety car was deployed, so that kind of chucked away a position. But whatever happens at that point in the race, he couldn't have not taken it, because then he would have had to take it later and would have lost more places, or wouldn't have taken it at all and got a penalty. So he had to take it at that moment, but they might be a bit regretful they didn't do it a tiny bit earlier.
Yeah, I think Mercedes will have learned some stuff about strategy as we see the cars leaving the garage.
A little bit earlier than yesterday. Well, it's actually about pretty much the same time that they went out yesterday. So now it's Oliver Rowland at the front of the queue. Now, Bird's being held here for quite a long time compared to everyone else.
What are he's going to have to watch the clock, because
he's just left.
If he's got traffic ahead of him, you either don't get to do your lap at all because the checker comes out, or you run up behind somebody else and get traffic. So
this is interesting. So the two Envision Virgin Racing cars going out together, running nose to tail, but they went out later, but they're just going to catch everyone up, as you say. Look, they are there. They're not too far away, but still, they're going to catch the back of the Porsches if the Porsche of Lotterer decides to do anything funky.
Which we've definitely seen some of the more experienced drivers in the championship try and back the whole train up, so the person at the back doesn't get their lap at all. Because as this goes on, Group 1, as the season goes on, Group 1 is going to be your main championship challenger. So you might not beat the people in Group 3 in that situation, but you will disadvantage the guys who you're racing against in the championship.
So, here's Rowland.
Just so I don't catch them at the end of the lap.
I think Oliver Rowland's going to go.
Yeah, so is Rowland going to go
down, and I think he put it to full power. Is he?
No, he hasn't.
He hasn't. No, right.
So I don't know why he was worried about catching them at the end of the lap, because he's first out.
He's looking at a quick lap, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. So across the line they come. They're all comfortable at the moment with a good 15 seconds.
Yeah, 15, 20 seconds. So I would be gapping them right now if I was Sam Bird, because you want to go into the lap with momentum. You want to have the tyres warm in the last half of the lap. You don't want to be slowing down in that to create a gap as you come through sort of turn 16, 17.
Sam Bird's mum has just tweeted me.
Uh-oh. What have we done?
Saying, just heard you say Muller will be in Group 1. Why is that? I said it wrong. I meant Group 4. So my apologies. Nico Muller will be out in Group 4. Thank you very much, Di, for correcting me.
Keeping you straight.
Yeah, exactly. So they are on their warm-up laps at 200, and this has to be the least disadvantageous Group 1 of the year.
I don't know if the year, certainly more than yesterday.
Because you're getting the second day, you're getting a cleaner track.
But it was so bad yesterday, Jack.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, and Oliver Rowland has already turned it up to full power, 250 kilowatts. And here he goes, starting the lap. And the key to all this, guys, is getting those Michelin tyres into their operating window. And let's see who's done it best. You can actually hear when the car screeches, that screeching noise sometimes. When that tells you how much they're sliding, the less you can hear that screeching, they're either going really slow or they've got loads of grip.
So the quickest lap time from today, a 1 minute 11.084. That is the kind of benchmark time. Everybody now starting their full power laps. 5 seconds to go, and Bird crosses the line now. So they're all comfortably through. Roland down through the first sector. Nick de Vries is the quickest in sector 1 out of he and Roland. Still got Van Doorn, Lotter, Frans and Bird to come. Van Doorn's a couple of tenths away from his teammate Nick de Vries.
Roland's already through the second sector.
Frans is a couple of seconds away, a couple of tenths away. It's Bird who's the fastest in sector 1, the race winner from yesterday. Onto the brakes for Oliver Roland.
Look how dark the track is getting. The car braking very well, the Nissan Idam's car. Roland's got 2 corners to go.
It's not a great middle sector for Roland or for Robin Frans here. Roland through the final corner, comes across the line. It's a 1:12.
Sam Bird at 99. This is a good lap.
6.60. Really good stuff from Sam Bird. Nick de Vries across the line. He slots into second place on 1:14.
Yeah, 1.4 seconds slower than Oliver Roland, though.
And lost a lot of it in the final sector.
Van Doorn, 1:12.4 to the top.
And now Lotterer goes quickest on a 12.1. Robin Frans only slots in third place. Sam Bird, quickest in the group. 1:12.007 for the championship leader. And that, I think, is going to be... I think that's got a shot.
It's got a shot at Super Bowl. It's a second slower than quickest time this morning.
Yeah.
To give you an idea. So, yeah, again, the track's just going to continue to get better, but you've got to say that was a cracking lap. I mean, when you look at the delta between Bird and de
Too
Vries.
many mistakes in the final sector. Too many mistakes in the final sector, sorry.
He was 2 tenths slower than his teammate Robin Frans in the final sector. So that's where Bird's sort of reasoning is coming from. So Bird, Lotterer, Van Doorn. The exact order from yesterday is the top 3. But then Frans in 4th, Roland in 5th, Nick de Vries. There would have been, he lost a second in the final sector. So that's where it all went for him. Not a great sector 1, not a great sector 2, but a second in the final sector for Nick de Vries. But nevertheless, a good lap.
And there
Next
is
up,
Alexander Sims.
Now Sims, very quick in free practice earlier on today, was 3rd quickest, less than a tenth behind DaCosta and Bird and the pole sitter from yesterday. Let's go down and hear from Nick de Vries, 6th quickest. He's talking to Nicky Shields. So there's Nick de Vries, the mistake coming then at 8 and 9.
Part of that series of corners from turn 6 to turn 14 with absolutely no rest. So that whole section would have been ruined for Nick de Vries. Dead honest, just said, yeah, made a mistake, got a bit greedy.
There's the BMW I Andretti Motorsport team with Alexander Sims getting ready to head out in this session. His teammate Maxi Gunter will be heading out in Group 3. Now we saw, what was it about?
Sims just playing up for the camera. That's a bit funny.
I was looking at the timing screens. We saw yesterday, no, in that first session, they went out with about 3 minutes 20, 3 minutes 25 left on the clock.
Yep.
The Envisions went out a little bit later than that, but that's roughly the kind of times that we're looking at than them leaving the pit garages and heading out onto the circuit, as the huge flag at the center of this circuit flutters in Diriyah as we get ready for these cars to head out on circuit for the second group. There's Jerome D'Ambrosio getting ready to head out in this second group of qualifying, and this will tell us a lot about the track evolution, because we've got some quick drivers in this group. We've got quick drivers every year.
I was going to say, there's not a slow driver. Jerome D'Ambrosio was having his little shot of espresso when I walked down pit lane a minute ago, getting ready, getting himself wound up for qualifying. Or some drivers have to calm down for qualifying and relax. Others have got to get themselves up to extract the maximum.
Which were you?
I had to calm down. Like to calm down, nice and calm.
Okay, let's go here from Oliver Rowland. He's with Nicky. Talking to Nicky Shields, and yeah, fairly honest, didn't want to get involved in the mess of yesterday, paid the price for the dirty track, is the thinking of Oliver Rowland, as we see Dilbag Gill ready to go for Jerome D'Ambrosio, who did a good job in qualifying yesterday, got into Super Pole. As Sims comes up towards the final corner, this is his out lap, then he'll start the warm-up lap.
Yeah, Jerome said, yeah, he said, yeah, the car was quite quick. We just struggled a little bit with our energy saving, and that was really it. Going quick, saving energy. They weren't quite where they needed to be, so overnight there would have been a bunch of work done. You see Alexander Sims trying to get some temperature into the tyres, trying to get them into their operating window. You've got to figure out whichever technique works for you to do that, and each track is a little bit different actually, but whatever it is, you've got to do, if it works, you've got to do the same thing in practice 1, practice 2, and qualifying, and Super Pole if you get there. Well, actually Super Pole's different because the tyres are warm already.
So here comes Sims up towards 16 and 17. Everybody else is headed out onto the circuit as well, so there's not going to be any kerfuffle yet. He's pushing here, Alexander Sims. It's not like a sort of weaving tyres. Well, just
to say that.
Come on, Alex.
Work with me.
But you know what I mean. He was sort of giving it a bit of beans, wasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. No, and even in the straight line he was still. But he's now turned it up to full power, 250 kilowatts. You can do that in the last sector of the lap. And here he is weaving Jack.
Yeah. We needed to, you know, heighten that.
Turn 1, he's already on his qualifying lap. That was the first lap. Bit messy through there, used a bit too much curb. Used all the roads.
This is the pole sitter from yesterday, Alexander Sims, dropping down the hill at turn 4.
It doesn't sound like he's got a lot of grip, if that makes sense. It's yeah, the car, just the amount of sliding that's going on, that's not ideal for it. Pitched it sideways, down the hill.
Fastest first sector of anyone. In fact,
shows what I know.
That out lap was quicker than Nick de Vries managed, that warm-up lap.
200.
Yeah. So Sims with a good first sector. Now on the power, down at the bottom of the hill. Eduardo Mortara will be the next man to start a lap in the Rocket Venturi. A little bit of an adjustment for Sims, but he's up with a very good middle sector as well.
This is that last bit is how greedy do you want to be? You don't know what the guys behind you are doing. You don't know quite how hard to push.
Into the chicane, checker flag is out, so the drivers have all started their flying laps. Massa through the first sector is a couple of tenths adrift of Alexander Sims, who surely is going to put himself up into Super Pole contention, maybe to the top of the times. Yes, to the top of the times. 1 minute 11.858. No one is going quicker than Sims in sector 1 at the moment. D'Ambrosio is with him, Evans is with him, but not quite close enough. Here we're looking at Felipe Massa, who is 3 tenths down on Sims after the first 2 sectors.
But again, just going to be in the top 6 after all the group qualifying to give you a shot at Super Pole.
Massa across the line, and it's only 6th for Massa. Pushes Rowland out of Super Pole.
Sam Bird still 2nd from Group 1.
Here's the other Venturi of Eduardo Mortara. Into the final corner, out across the line. Mortara goes 3rd. Now here's Pascal Wehrlein in the Mahindra, and he goes 7th. Oof. That's a bit of a disappointing one for Wehrlein. Evans goes 2nd, and Jerome D'Ambrosio hits the wall and goes quickest. A 1:11.835, but has he damaged the car?
Yep, that's the problem, Jack. How much work can he actually do on it? Because he hit it. He didn't hit the wall with the flat side of the car. He hit it actually with the left rear wheel.
A little bit of a notch.
A bit?
Exit of last corner, but should be fine.
Should be fine,
unfortunately,
says Jerome
Jerome was on TV, old son. And we'll just replay it, just right on the edge of that wall. Nasty, because the way the wall sticks out there, he caught it with the left rear right on the bit of it, at the edge of the wall too. So we'll find out how much damage. Jerome knows, because the steering, if he's hit it hard enough, the steering will be squint.
Yeah.
And he doesn't seem too worried.
So both Mercedes and Oliver Rowland knocked out of the Super Pole session, and Robin Freins as well, who you just saw lurking there on the left. Here's another look at the D'Ambrosio hit.
Oh, right on the edge. Yeah, that's a tough one.
So D'Ambrosio goes quickest, quicker than Alexander Sims. Here's how we are so far, with 12 drivers down. D'Ambrosio, Sims, Evans, Bird, Mortara and Lotterer, the 6 drivers to progress through to Super Pole at the moment. But we've still got 12 more drivers to come. Van Dorn missing out, Freins missing out, Wehrlein, Massa down in 10th place, Oliver Rowland 11th, and then Nick de Vries will be starting at the back of the field for Mercedes-Benz EQ. But we're only halfway through the session, and those 6 drivers are the ones progressing at the moment. So these are the 2 qualifying groups coming up next. We've got Turvey, De Grassi, Da Costa, Gianni, Gunter and Collado as in qualifying group 3. And then Buemi and Verne with, in theory, the cleanest track in group 4. There's Rowland walking back to the pits. And let's go down to Nikki Shields and find out who she's talking to. Sam Bird then 4th. It's going to be tough, to be honest, for him to hang in there. It's possible, but possible. It's tough.
And he said, look, a top to group, that's all you can do. He's a 1,000th of a second ahead of Eero Mortara, and that might be critical. It can be that close.
Yeah, wow, it is 1,000th of a second, isn't it? So about a minute till the cars head out on circuit for Group 3. As I say, James Collado will be heading out onto the track. A whole rear change for Collado. So great work from the Panasonic Jaguar team to get him out. And
they really did do a good job, didn't they?
We'll see what he can do.
Yeah, and he's had a tough baptism. He's had a couple of crashes now in the last 2 days, and just sort of needs to settle down. And he's probably questioning himself, though. It's that thing of, how hard can I actually push?
He actually had a big crash in Valencia as well, I think, and they had to change the tub.
Did they? Yeah.
I think so, yeah. So now, Maxi Gunter almost leaving the pit lane now. Away he goes to join the circuit. So same format for these 6 drivers. Out lap, fast lap.
Steering's not straight.
Out lap, warm-up lap, fast lap, I should say. James Collado saying the steering's not straight.
Yeah. And then that's the engineer's thinking, that's because you hit the wall.
Is that only because... Can you only test that when you drive out the pit lane?
No, you can...
Surely in the car.
Sure, yeah.
In the garage.
You can normally get a decent idea of it, but it's clearly challenging, because there's a lot of times when it is not you always have to come in and sort of make a slight adjustment to the toes on the front to get it running straight. But a lot of people, they use a sort of the position of the hands, the sighting as well as the feel to tell how much sliding the car is doing. So it's not ideal, but again, that goes back to the crash this morning in free practice 1, or actually it was free practice 3, but you see a bit of a race going on between BMW and a Jaguar as they come up the hill.
So,
looking for track position.
Yeah, indeed. We've got 2 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock. And there is Maxi Gunter. Turvey out as well. Neil Jarni, what can he do in the Porsche? Because he struggled in qualifying yesterday, then missed the start of the race almost because he couldn't see the lights. So he wants to be a bit further up the order.
Yeah, it's on such a hill. You see Neil Jarni on TV now in the Porsche. It's such a steep hill at the back of the grid. You couldn't actually see the gantry. So yeah, I guess goal number 1, get up further. I'll take care of that problem.
So 1:44 to go. Everybody on their warm-up lap now. There is Jarni. James Collado actually had that problem as well, starting at the back of the field. As through they come. There is Lucas de Grassi. Not on full power yet. Still looking swift as he makes his way down the hill.
Visually quicker than yesterday, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. There's Jean-Eric Verne getting ready. And it's also worth pointing out, he is in Group 4. He has got a shot. But if he makes the top 10, I think that would be a remarkable achievement. He's got to instantly find 6 seconds.
Yeah, because obviously he raced yesterday, but the track conditions are so different. He had a crash this morning and didn't get any time. We actually got the car ready, but he couldn't go back out because the battery G sensor had said, look, you've had too big a hit, you need to get it checked out. There was no one there to check it out, so the team did their job, but they were held and he couldn't get back out. So this is not the unknown, but it's a much different track than he raced on yesterday.
So he will be out in Group 4, but now we're getting the flying lap start in Group 3. And we're going to watch Lucas de Grassi here. We'll keep you up to date with the sector times of Maxi Gunter and James Collado, but we're going to be watching Lucas de Grassi as he swings through the right-hander of Turn 4 and starts to drop down the hill. And it's a pretty decent first sector, actually, for Maxi Gunter. De Grassi's going to come across that first sector split now. And his is good too. It's quicker than Gunter. This is good stuff from the two of them. James Collado's first sector is a second off the pace. Collado's done.
And this is when de Grassi really needs to take advantage of being in Group 3 today to get him up front for the race so he can get back some of those points that the opposition got yesterday.
De Grassi through the middle sector, and it's a reasonable middle sector. He's lost a couple of tenths to D'Ambrosio. Now we're focusing on Maxi Gunter.
But a couple of tenths puts him P5 already.
Across the line, and Gunter goes 6th. Now here comes Collado, who had a poor first sector, a very poor middle sector, and so as a result, he goes into 13th place. Only Nick de Vries quicker. De Grassi goes 3rd. Now Neil Jarni in the Porsche, out across the line, and Jarni only goes 14th. Wow. Not good. Oliver Turvey goes 14th as well, and Da Costa goes quickest.
Quickest this morning, quickest so far in qualifying.
Thumbs up from Mark Preston as DS Tajita top the groups, or top the first 3 groups, 4 tenths quicker than Jerome D'Ambrosio. What a great lap from Da Costa.
That was our pole sitter from last year, Antonio Felix Da Costa, but he was driving at that point the BMW. Great job. James Barkley just not happy with what he's seeing on the timesheet from James Collado. Mitch Evans P5 though.
Yeah, Evans P5, Collado
on the bubble. Sandberg. Just takes one guy to go with that little bit quicker, and you've got Jean-Eric Verne, Sebastian Buemi in the next group.
Yeah, and you can see Bird making his...
It's quite similar. Are you still in the car, Antonio? Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, man.
Okay, you stay in P2 until you leave.
Yeah.
On part en 3 minutes si tu veux mettre le 2 ou sinon on pourra commencer. C'est comme tu vois. Tu veux le mettre et ça t'aide pas.
So there's Jean-Eric Verne getting ready to go out. Now, I spoke to him before qualifying. He basically said if he gets in the top 10, it will be like a pole position for him. Because the fastest lap he's ever done round here is a 1:17 before hitting the wall this morning. The lap times we're doing now are 1:11s. And you can't just go out and find 7 seconds. He'll be pushing like mad, no doubt, on his out lap or on his and then his warm-up lap. But if he gets in the top 10 here, I will take off my hat that I don't wear.
If he gets in the top 6, if he gets into Super Bowl, I'll buy him a drink.
if he gets into Super Bowl, I will. I don't know what I'll do. I'll buy him two drinks.
I dread to think, Jack.
What?
Oh, we see Jerome. I'd love to see how bad the damage is on Jerome D'Ambrosio's left rear.
Yeah.
He's still second quickest, but he hit fairly hard.
And what can the Dragons do as well? Because Hartley and Muller, both quick drivers, looked very quick in pre-season testing. Yesterday didn't go according to plan. I'm curious.
I am, and the Dragon car has been quick in qualifying in past seasons, you have to say. It's been more the race situation they've struggled with. So, yeah, this will be a fascinating session. There's no doubt.
That man, to me, though, is the favourite to be progressing. Sebastian Buemi in the Nissan Edams. Again, I'd be surprised if he doesn't make it through into the Super Pole session. Minute and a half or so before the cars, well, 30 seconds before they go out onto the circuit. Qualifying Group 4 getting underway in some 30 seconds, but let's hear from the Mahindra drivers first with Nicky Shields. So good to hear from the Mahindra drivers. D'Ambrosio looking strong. Wehrlein, not his weekend so far, he says. Here comes the Dragon of Nico Muller, the 27-year-old, making his Formula E debut this weekend. In fact, making his Formula E debut today because he got a DNS yesterday.
Yeah, didn't even get out there. Had some issues from a crash earlier in the day, and so sat and watched it. So again, that experience that everybody else gained yesterday, he missed out on. He's going for it this lap. You saw the halo glowing magenta. He's turned it up.
Only 17th quickest in the first free practice session as well. So here he comes down towards turn 21.
Yeah, straight out though. No warm up. He's going now. Nice and clean off the turn 21.
No, I think that was his warm-up lap that he's just finished. He did an out-lap and a warm-up lap, and now he's on full power.
But very early to be going.
Yeah, agreed. Through turn 4, starting to drop down there. Oh, looks like a little bit of a twitch on the way into 5. We'll see his first sector split any moment now. 24.3 is the time to beat. Sorry, 23.4. He's done a 23.7, so 3/10 away in sector 1. Nico Muller.
And I think realistically, with experience level, he's got to be looking at if he can get in the top 10.
Yeah.
That would be, I think, a win. Bit of traffic, but not a factor.
Sebastian Buemi, that was.
At that point, you're thinking, please get out of the way, please don't hold me up.
Jean-Eric Verne's first sector is 4/10 off to Costa. in sector 1. No, my apologies, it's 7/10 off the quickest first sector.
That's a tough one to
recover
from.
But this is just his outlap, is it? I think this is just his warm-up lap. So we're watching Nico Müller coming through the chicane, through the flat-out right-hander of 20, and then into 21, out across the line. And Nico Müller,
God, he's close to the wall.
18th, only quicker than Nick de Vries. So not a good lap for Müller. Didn't look like any obvious errors.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening, guys. The Mabel was completely going nuts.
Hartley got off.
Hartley is sliding around.
Yeah, offline.
Could you tell what Müller said was going nuts?
Some part of one of the systems of the car, it sounds like, was going nuts. Brendan Hartley, 24-7 first split.
Buemi, oh, that's horrible from Hartley. That's a second and a half away. What is going on with the Dragon cars? This man, Buemi, is on it, though. Fastest first sector of anyone. In the Nissan Edam's car, we're about to come through the middle sector split now. And he's lost a couple of tenths in the middle sector. So he should be into the top 6 here. Might not beat Da Costa's time at the top. Jean-Eric Verne's first sector is okay, only a couple of tenths away. Here comes Brendan Hartley. His middle sector is better than his first sector, but it's still only 17th. But here comes Buemi. Surely he's going to book himself a place in Superpole and push Sambird out. Yes, he is. It's second for Buemi.
Still 3/10 off Buemi.
Here comes Jean-Eric
Da Costa.
Here comes Jean-Eric Verne. He had a big lock up into the chicane. His middle sector is only a couple of tenths away. That's a good job from Verne. He goes 11th.
11th, that's still impressive.
He doesn't get the drink because it's not top 10, but it's 15th, meanwhile, for Daniel Abt. And that is frustration
15th
for Alan McNish. So it's 15th for Abt.
5th for
7 tenths off the Degrassi, who was out in Group 3.
Sambird just misses out on Superpole from Group 1.
So Da Costa, Buemi, D'Ambrosio, Sims, Degrassi and Evans. The top 6 progressing. Horrible pace from Dragon. Horrible. This was Jean-Eric Verne's lock-up.
Just on the bumps, Jack, it just caught on the bumps, and he still got it in, though. He had a couple of goes, but we'll see how much he misses the apex by. Just watch his head. That'll give you an idea of the bumps coming that he goes up over. There you go. Didn't look as bad in there, did it?
Not awful.
No. Still a great job, 11th with no laps this morning.
And still quicker than the Dragons.
No. And he can do something from there. Jean-Eric Verne can come up with a big result, I think, from there today.
Here's a replay of Brendan Hartley. This will be his mistake in the first sector.
Look how wide he is, Jack. I mean, that's... And then, again, the dirt's on the tyres. And it's going to take you a while to clean those off.
Jay Penske, the boss of the Dragon team. Buemi with a good lap. As he returns to the pits. And this is how they finish from group qualifying. So that means a first point of the season for Antonio Felix da Costa for topping the qualifying groups. Sebastian Buemi, Jerome D'Ambrosio, Sims, Degrassi and Evans. So we've got 6 different manufacturers in the top 6 positions. You know what? We've got 8 in the top 8 and 9 in the top 10. Jean-Eric Verne, 11th on the grid, as he was yesterday. We'll see whether he can finish this race. And poor days at the office for Martin Hua, James Collado, Nico Müller and Nick de Vries as we get ready for Superpole next. So this is Sebastian Buemi. This is his fast lap from qualifying.
Sounds out of sync, actually, unfortunately, guys.
Yeah.
So that gives you kind of a false reading of what's going on.
So we can't really make out whether he's sort of flat on the throttle or not, but it's still...
If he was flat on the throttle down there, I'd be quite impressed.
Yeah, that's true.
It gives you some idea with this view of how steep the downhill is. Jumping the curbs again. That's about the only curb you've actually got in that whole downhill sequence. Other parts, you've got to apex the wall, which makes it very difficult to judge, especially with the bodywork going over the top of the front tyres. Makes it, as low as the driver's sitting, makes it very difficult to judge. You're sitting about another foot higher from the driver's eye line, maybe slightly more. So it definitely changes your perspective up the straight to turn 18. This is going to be the main overtaking chance this afternoon. Attack mode activation zone over to your right. Bit of bump in turn 20. And this will be the finish line this afternoon.
Right, so Mitch Evans out onto the circuit. And he will only get an outlap this time around. Outlap, and then it is full power, 250 kilowatts. And Evans has to go for it. The 25-year-old with one win in his career in Rome last year, 4 podiums, 1 pole position in Zurich season before last for the Jaguar team.
That win in Rome, he was really sort of pushed his way into the lead, and it was a fantastic win for him, for the Jaguar team.
So here he comes up the hill. We'll turn it up to full power any moment now. James Barclay, the Jaguar Racing team director. Here comes Evans.
It might take a slightly different line into 21, slow the entry of the corner down to accelerate just that fraction earlier out of the corner to start the lap and give him any kilometre an hour he can pull up this straight. He's going to be appreciated by the driver. See him working for... Oh, look at the blind corners. It's very difficult to judge where to place the car because each one of these corners is totally blind. Through turn 5, 6, 7, a whole bit of oversteer, but slightly off line as well with that. So a bit of dirt will go on the tyres. Oh, turned in a bit early, but he's carrying a lot of momentum.
It's a good first sector as well. A couple of tenths away from the quickest we've seen, but definitely in the mix for Mitch Evans.
We've seen those situations where Super Bowl has been a bit slower than group qualifying in the past.
Evans coming through the middle sector split now, and it is a 19.8. This is a decent hooked up lap here from Evans. Another little bit of oversteer right up to the wall.
That was all the road. You could see he couldn't keep the trajectory of the car because of the back of the car sliding, but he kept the throttle down and used all the road. Using the regeneration into the braking zone. He was able to connect with the throttle quite well there. He didn't have to sort of feather it. He got back to full power. Dancing around on the brakes. He comes to the end of the lap.
Mitch Evans does a 1 minute 11.929. I think that's not a bad lap. Not a bad lap from Evans. Again, we have no reference point because the lap times tend to be different, and that's why there's not much expression on the face of James Barclay.
Keep pushing, remember, keep pushing on the in-lap.
You have to do an in-lap that's 120% of your quick lap, so that you can't hang around and potentially block other cars. Lucas de Grassi is about to be the next man to start the lap.
You can just watch the steering as Mitch Evans goes through. He barely turns right in that right-hand corner. He's just correcting the slide the whole way through. All right, what can Lucas de Grassi do? He's in Super Bowl. This is his chance to start the race up front.
So through the final corner, de Grassi across the line. Evans started yesterday 16th and got up into 10th place. Lucas de Grassi started yesterday's race in 19th on the grid. So, well, it can only get better.
Yeah, exactly right.
It's already better.
Now, Lucas has got one of those very sort of silky smooth driving styles, though. So it's very difficult to tell when he's going quick. Good first split, though.
600ths up on Mitch Evans. Down through turn 14.
Can't just overdo any of those corners because you pay the penalty by that tightens up the next corner. So you got to just the whole time bear in mind what's coming next. We saw Lucas walking down pit. Oh, too much oversteer out of 17.
100th down on Evans.
He's going to make a bit of time up on the brakes into 18 or 21. We just can't get off the brakes, run a bit of speed through. That looked good though.
Neat and tidy from Degrassi down towards 21.
Good out of the corner as well. The car accelerated in a straight line.
Evans on provisional pole. Lucas Degrassi goes quicker by a tenth and a half. 1 minute 11.784. A round of applause from Alan McNish. And now Alexander Sims will be next up. Here's a look at Degrassi flying through that bottom corner at 17.
Just catching the oversteer right at apex.
A nod from Alan McNish to, I think that was to Rui Alves, who's sitting next to him. But here comes the pole man from yesterday, Alexander Sims for BMW I Andretti.
And you could hear the front of the BMW just kissing the ground on the brakes. We haven't heard that from anybody else. We just heard it just chirping as he goes across those bumps. Again, the front of the car dives down low on braking.
So here comes Sims across the line to start in Diriyah into turn 1.
Very gentle on the brakes, trying to keep the pitch of the car neutral.
Looking neat and tidy so far from Sims, really hugging the apices as he comes through the first sector. What's it going to be? Quickest by a good 3/10 over Degrassi and Evans. He's looked really hooked up this weekend, Alexander Sims.
They change of direction. Some of the other teams think that's what the BMW's advantage on this track is the way it changes direction down the hill. That's a great lap so far from Alexander Sims.
A quarter of a second up on Degrassi. Now through the second sector, he's 4/10 up on Degrassi. Sims is flying here. Oh, but it's a big slide.
That was phenomenal car control from Alexander Sims.
Four-wheel drifting out of 17, but will that have cost him time all the way up this long straight?
That looked cool. That's no comfort to the BMW Andretti squad, I'm sure.
And Sims doesn't often look cool. Here he comes towards the final corner, out across the line. Sims goes quickest, 3/10 of a second ahead of Lucas Degrassi. Lost 2/10 compared to Degrassi in that final sector, but a smile from Roger Griffiths.
Okay, Alex, mode 2, mode 2.
Copy. Did you see my slide out of 17?
Yeah, we did.
Yes, we did.
Let's look at it again, shall we?
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Phenomenal. That feels a lot worse than that in the car, or better, depending how you're looking at it.
This is the onboard.
Oh, from the back. Look at the black lines.
That was awesome. So Alexander Sims on provisional pole position. Interesting that he said in his interview with Nicky earlier on, there are very obvious things that we saw we did wrong in the race, as far as that is concerned. Here comes Jerome D'Ambrosio. Oh, little lock up into turn 4.
He's gone wide. That's it. Lap over. He just got on the dust, and that's compromised this whole sector off the track.
We'll see what he has in sector 1. How far away from Alexander Sims is he going to be? It's a 23.6. He's
recovered well.
He's only a couple of tenths away from Degrassi and Evans sector 1. So he's not fully out of it, D'Ambrosio. I think pole will be a bit much. Through the middle sector now.
Hugging the inside of 16, 17, maybe more, certainly more than Alexander Sims did. Much neater and tidier back to throttle.
He might squeak ahead of Evans here. He's got a shot of squeaking ahead of Mitch Evans. Jerome D'Ambrosio in the Mahindra. Evans' final sector wasn't superb. D'Ambrosio looks neat and tidy.
I think I would want to be in the odd-numbered starting side today. It's a much cleaner the even, but if you're good enough to just to do a qualifying lap based on that, you're better than me. But
Degrassi on D'Ambrosio 4th.
Not
pretty much, yeah.
Not a great last sector either.
6/10 away. Here's his radio.
Never grip on that second lap. It's shoulder grip is so poor on this second lap.
shake of the head from Dilbag Gill. Vinit Patel sitting next to him.
To be an optimist, the car's in one piece. And
yeah.
Where he locked up there, it could have easily not been.
And again, worst case scenario is 6th.
And did that brush of the wall affect his Super Pole lap?
Now here comes Sebastian Buemi looking for his 15th pole position in Formula E. 15. And this is the 60th race of Formula E today. Here
This
comes
man
Buemi.
hasn't been in them all because he missed a couple. Remember the season when he had to go and do some other stuff?
Correct.
There's a different camera mount again. It looks like it's on the front of the halo. Loving all these different camera angles. Hit the bump. Looks like he's running that car slightly low. He's a bit offline. You heard that more than anything, the car hitting the bump.
Buemi through sector 1. Pretty much matches Sims. He's only fractionally away, 0.005 of a second to be precise.
He's looking good through here, Jack. He can definitely qualify. Pretty good at racing too, but he, an experience level in Formula E. Just trying to find any hundreds of a second he can in the remaining corners of the lap.
Through the middle sector, he's a 1/10.5 away from Sims, but that's much better. Through turn 17, Buemi is not out of this yet. If he hooks up a good final sector, it could be pole for the Swiss. Still, Antonio Felix da Costa to run. Can Buemi guarantee himself a front row grid slot for the second race of the season? So close to the wall at 20. Now to the final corner of 21. Buemi second. 0.2 away from Alexander Sims. So Sims will be starting on the front row for the opening 2 races of the year.
Da Costa versus Sims.
And Sims now showing off about his sideways slide.
I would too. That was quite impressive. And he's actually thinking, who's looking cool now? Jack Nicholls.
There's a replay of Buemi coming through the left-hander. A little bit of a twitch coming out. Look how close he gets here. Oh.
And there's a bump right at the apex as well, just to make things even more interesting. And you see the reaction from the team.
So, now Sims watches his teammate from last season, Antonio Felix da Costa, try and take DS Techeetah's first pole position of the year. Jean-Eric Verne will start in 11th place. What can da Costa do? On pole here last year.
And again, there's that driver psychology. Da Costa wants to prove that he's made the right decision by leaving BMW, going to DS Techeetah. Looks good so far. Through turns 4, through 5. Now he's got to really keep the momentum up. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then before he breaks at 14. Great first sector.
So good. 300s up on Alexander Sims. And it just looks so fast coming down the hill. Oh no, loses it. Just about keeps it together, but is that enough to cost him pole position? Through the middle sector, he's lost 0.2, and he's going again.
He almost spat him into, in fact, touched the wall.
Da Costa throws it away, and he will start 6th on the grid. It's his 3rd pole in a row for Alexander Sims.
He's a machine.
What a man!
Just got over the limit in 14.
He doesn't.
Da Costa got dirt on the tyres, and you saw what happened in 16.
Sims doesn't want to celebrate yet until Da Costa crosses the line. It's 6th place for Da Costa, and it is the bespectacled Englishman.
He looks
that takes
delighted.
pole position again.
Oh no, there was a smile.
Unbridled joy.
Enthusiasm knows no bounds. Mike Andretti again here today. Hey, Michael looks happy too.
Was he in New York City?
Yeah, he was there for the first race.
Okay, so he wasn't there for the Sims pole.
No.
So a 3rd pole in a row.
Oh, he is smiling.
Hey.
Well done. Fantastic job.
So, Sims on pole.
He'll take the lessons he learned yesterday and how he overconsumed the energy, put them to work today. But the race is a lot different today. The lap times are going to be faster. It's going to be probably longer. Yeah, the complexion, the makeup of the race, I think, is going to be a bit different than yesterday.
Da Costa's thrown that one away, hasn't he?
Yes, he has.
Well, let's go and hear from Alexander Sims, a third pole position in a row for the Englishman. He's with Nicky Shields.
Well, Alexander Sims, I mean, that was unbelievable. Sliding through the S's and watching your emotions. Congratulations, pole position for a third time running.
Yeah, it seems slightly bizarre. Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, it was a very good lap, other than my power slide, but seemingly didn't seem to lose too much time because of that, thankfully, despite it leading onto the longest straight. Work that one out if you can. I can't, but nevertheless, no, really happy. I mean, third in a row, that's pretty unbelievable. We just need to try and get the race right this time.
Right, so it all comes down to energy management now. How are you going to be able to compete with the other guys and keep your position?
Well, there were multiple factors. Energy was one of them. Part mistake from my side. Communication between me and the team. You know, there's various things that we can improve. Hopefully, we can just get on top of them today.
Excellent. Thanks very much. Well done.
That is the first time a driver has taken 3 pole positions in a row in the history of Formula E. Alexander Sims, record breaker. Here's a look at Da Costa. It all goes wrong here at 14. I think he might have clipped the curb on the inside, and that just shuffled him a bit wide. And then from there on, overdoing it, and he was on the dirt again. And it's 6th place for Da Costa, and 11th place for Jean-Eric Vergne. The DS cheaters have the pace, but not enough. Let's hear from Sebastian Buemi now, the man who will start in 2nd place on the grid. He's with Nicky.
Well, Sebastian, making up for not finishing the race yesterday, back on the front row of the grid.
Yeah, kind of happy with that. It's never easy to start the season like we did yesterday with this technical failure. So today, at least, we start from the front row. We have a good possibility to do well in the race. Hopefully, we can score some good points and leave this weekend quite happy.
Obviously, you know, your team has won 3 teams championships in the past. Are you ready to show the German powerhouses that you guys are here as a competition as well?
Yeah, that's the objective. You know, last year we had a completely different powertrain to most of the people with some positives and negatives. Obviously, now this year we've changed everything, and it's kind of good to show that we can be on the front row, you know, even with those changes.
And stay there?
Yeah, hopefully, yes. This year it should be a bit easier in the races compared to what we had to do last year. Our powertrain is definitely more efficient, but again, we need to do the race and see what happens.
Right, good luck. Thanks very much, Seb.
On board with Buemi. Coming down the hill. Through the right-hander of 8 and then into 9. All look good for Buemi. Such a quick sequence of corners. And the Nissan driver will start 2nd on the grid. As he alluded to there, they struggled with efficiency last year, did Nissan, and they'll be hoping that it can be a little bit better today. 3rd on the grid will be Lucas de Grassi, the Audi driver, up there in 3rd.
Well, Lucas de Grassi, obviously we saw Sam Bird with an Audi powertrain on the top step of the podium. Are you here to prove that you guys can do it too?
I'm much happier today, 3rd place on the grid. That's all due to the work that has been done overnight. We flipped the car around, try to find performance. As you know, Formula E in one day it's very difficult to find lap time or if you have a mistake in the setup. So we worked very hard during the whole night to put the car together, and it paid off. We are much quicker today since free practice, and I'm very happy to be on the 2nd row of the race.
Thanks very much.
There's Alan McNish on his phone as ever. Rui Alves there on the right-hand side. Rui smiling in the end, but McNish very focused.
No, you've got to go through the emotions, the whole crying at the bird, and then dealing with shitty nappies.
Oh, okay. Apologies if you heard Alexander Sims there. I think he's talking about his new baby. If you didn't hear that, then you don't know what I'm laughing at. But if you did, my apologies. But also quite funny. So Antonio Felix da Costa looked as though he was going to take pole. He's thrown it away.
Well, we saw Alexander Sims doing a few slides, but I think you took the power slide to the next level on that lap.
A bit too much, actually, yeah, because I ended up losing the car. I didn't even go to that corner with that much extra speed, but I don't know, lost it a bit on the entry, and then I thought I had it, and it just went more, and then I just lost control really. So it's a shame. It looked like a pretty good lap up until then. So yeah, what can I say? I mean, I can't be disappointed. We show that we have speed. I am disappointed with myself, but very happy with the team and the recovery. You know, everyone back hard at work after yesterday, and we show that we can fight. So it's ahead.
And it's obviously your old teammate Alexander Sims that you're going to be charging after.
That's 3 times on pole in a row. That must be some kind of a record, I think. He's on fire.
Thank you.
Let's look at Da Costa getting loose again through 16 and 17. Sideways all the way. Then he kind of gets it, and then he ends up just nudging the wall. There, it kicks out at the last minute. Shouldn't be too much damage done to the DS Techeetah.
What about the race you mentioned yesterday? How about the administration?
Lucas Di Grassi there, third on the grid. Here's a look at how they'll line up then for the second race of the season. Alexander Sims, pole position for the BMW I Andretti Motorsport team, a 1 minute 11.476. 2 tenths up on Sebastian Buemi. 3 tenths up on Lucas Di Grassi, Mitch Evans, Jerome D'Ambrosio, and Antonio Felix Da Costa, the rest of the top 6. Championship leader Sam Bird starts in 7th place, which is not too bad for him. Andre Lotterer completed the top 10 for Porsche. He wasn't too dissatisfied with that. But look how close it is. The times give such a tenth of a second, as I think it was Oliver Turvey said, can shoot you so far up the order. Jean-Eric Verne will start outside the points again in 11th place. He'll be hoping for no technical problems during the course of this E-Prix. Stoffel Van Dorn in 12th place. Neil Jarni down in 19th position. And then you've got Mark, Collado, Muller and De Vries, all with days to forget.